Hello students, this is your grammar book and I'll be starting the first chapter from today. Your first chapter is about nouns. You may have learned about the different kinds of nouns. We'll just do a quick revision. You know what are proper nouns? When we refer to the name of a particular person, particular place, then it becomes a proper noun. Even when we are referring to the name of a particular animal, for example, animal's name is Tommy, so that will become a proper noun. But if I am talking about just a dog will not be a proper noun. I am not talking about a specific dog. So proper noun is when we are referring to a particular person, place, animal, thing. That becomes a proper noun. You have the names written over here, or when we talk about the Taj Mahal, the Times of India, that's the name of a particular newspaper. That will all fall under proper noun. Second, we come to common nouns. Now, common nouns are general names for people, animals, or things, like boy. Now, it can be any kind of boy, or a woman, or a cow, school, it may be any school. So that will become a common noun. Third, we have collective nouns. Collective nouns show the name of things, objects, or persons when they are referred to in a group, such as when we are talking about a bouquet of flowers, or a team of players, or a bunch of keys. That will all come under collective noun. So the word that will come under collective noun is, like I said, a bunch of keys. The word bunch will be a collective noun. The word bouquet of flowers, under this, the word bouquet will be a collective noun. Then we come to material nouns. They refer to any substance or material that is used to make other things. Like, for example, if you will make lemon juice, what all will you use? Sugar, salt, water, all this will come under material nouns. If a building is being constructed, cement, sand, all this will come under material nouns. So raw materials which are used to make other things are called material nouns. Then we have abstract nouns. Abstract nouns are, they cannot be seen, they can only be felt, like the qualities of a person: honesty, care, kindness, anger, happiness. They sometimes can be seen, sometimes they cannot be very evident, but they can be strongly felt. So that are abstract nouns. When we are talking about certain feelings, ideas, qualities of a person, or certain actions, that will refer to abstract nouns. Then abstract nouns can be formed in three ways. Like, they can be formed from common nouns. Like, we have a common noun, man. So out of it, manhood. Or maybe child, it will become childhood. Then we can pick up abstract nouns from adjectives. Kind will become kindness, or dark will become darkness. Then we can make abstract nouns from verbs also. Free is a verb, so freedom will be formed from the word free. Such are certain verbs through which you can make abstract nouns. So we come to the next page. The next important thing which you need to know is that abstract nouns can be of two types. First is attributive nouns. Now, attributive nouns can be name of a quality, characteristic or attribute. He is very caring, or they live in poverty. All this will come under attributive nouns. Then we have verbal nouns. These are two types of abstract nouns. First is attributive and second is verbal. The nouns which are formed, abstract nouns, which are formed from verbs. Like you can form a designer from design, or you may form sleeplessness from sleep. Such will be called verbal nouns and will fall under abstract nouns. Then we come to countable and uncountable nouns. The nouns can be countable as well as uncountable. Simple, those things which you can count, they are countable nouns. Like you can count your fingers, you can count the flowers, you can count the number of chairs, or you can count the number of balls. This will come under countable nouns. Like it's written also. Flowers, desks, children. But you cannot count certain things like water. You cannot say give me 2 water. Although you can say give me 2 glasses of water, but still it is uncountable. So all the other words like water, milk, they cannot be counted. They can be measured but cannot be counted. So they will not fall under countable nouns. Now, there are certain nouns which denote materials, ideas, concepts, substances, feelings, emotions. Such nouns are uncountable nouns. Now, they have given certain examples. Like I told you, you cannot count sugar or salt. You can measure it but cannot count it. You cannot say give me 4 sugar or give me 5 salt. No. You can say give me 5 packets of salt, or you can say give me 2 kgs of sugar. But you cannot straight away count them. Then on the second place, you have certain feelings such as sadness, or maybe wisdom, or anger. Such things also cannot be counted. He is 5 angry, or he is no angry. This will not be right. You can say he is not angry at all. So, these things also cannot be counted. The third place, certain things like news, burden, responsibility. These things also cannot be counted. You can just see them or feel them. Then furniture or luggage. Like you can say in sentences, they have a lot of luggage. But many times it may not be countable. There are various things in a luggage, so you may not be able to count it. Or you can say they shifted to another city and they had a lot of furniture to take along. You can say lot of furniture, but then it's not necessary you may be able to count the furniture. Then you have gas or electricity. Electricity can be measured in units, but you cannot count it. Wealth. It can be said they have a lot of wealth or they do not have wealth at all. But you cannot say they have 2 wealth or 500 wealth. So wealth is also uncountable. Then we come to the next page. Where we have 2 forms of nouns. You know very well there are singular nouns and plural nouns. Chair become chairs, torch become torches, knife become knives, box become boxes, queen become queens. But there are certain examples where the word will be same in singular form as well as plural form. Like deer. If you are talking about one deer, it will be a deer is standing near the river. But if you are talking about many of them, so you can say there are many deer standing near the river. Or you can say, for example, sheep. There is a sheep in the backyard. And if you have to refer to many of them, you may say there is a herd of sheep in the backyard. But you cannot use S with these words. These words will remain the same whether they are in singular form or in plural form. Then we come to gender. You may have learned that there are 4 kinds of gender. When the noun is referring to males, then it is called masculine gender. Like aunt or father, tiger or peacock. Here we are talking about males, so this will be masculine gender. Second is feminine gender, where we talk about females. Mother, aunt, tigress or peahen, which is the female of peacock. That will be female gender or feminine gender. Third is common gender, where we have examples like parents, doctor, teacher. Common gender may be of masculine gender or feminine gender. We include both the masculine and feminine gender in common gender. If you are talking about a doctor, now doctor may be a lady doctor or a gents. So it can be a common gender. When you are talking about a teacher, teacher may be sir or madam. So that comes in common gender. And then fourth we have neuter gender, where there is no gender of certain things. Box, you do not have a gender. Table, you do not have a gender. Or stool, you do not have a gender. So all these things come under neuter gender. Now we come to another important topic, that is case. Now case is that property of a noun which gives information about the role which it is playing in the sentence. You may be asked that write down the case of the certain word. Then you will have to find out the role which that word is playing in the sentence, and accordingly you have to write down to which case does it belong to. Like the first one, nominative case or the subjective case. When a noun or a pronoun occupies the position of the main subject in the sentence, it is said to be in the nominative case. To know the answer, you may ask a question like what or who, what or who was the person, and you will get the answer Wasim was the person who brought an ice cream for Nimmi. So Wasim word will be the main subject and will be said to be in subjective case. Then we come to the second one, that is objective case. In the subjective case, the noun or pronoun was taking the position of the main subject. In objective case, noun or pronoun takes the position of the main object. And to know that, you can ask the question what or whom. What was brought by the person? Then, like the same sentence has been taken, for example, Wasim bought an ice cream for Nimmi. Now, what was brought? An ice cream was brought. So ice cream becomes the main object. Then we come to the dative case, where the noun or pronoun plays the role of an indirect object in the sentence. Wasim bought an ice cream. For whom? This is the question which you can ask to know the dative case. For whom was the ice cream bought? It was bought for Nimmi. So Nimmi becomes the indirect object, or it comes in the dative case. We come to the next page. Possessive case. When a noun or a pronoun shows possession or association with something, it is said to be in the possessive case. Now we say, like for example, Mohan's book is with me. So Mohan's comes under possessive case. Or another sentence, Pihu's ice cream is with me. So we can say Pihu's is in possessive case. Remember that every time possessive case will be marked by an apostrophe. We'll learn what an apostrophe is and how it can be used. You have another topic after this, that is correct use of some nouns. For right now, I am skipping this topic and coming to the use of apostrophe. Apostrophe is generally used to show possession, and it is used with names of living people to show possession, like the cat's tail, you can see in the example, or nature's laws, Rohan's guitar. Now you can see in all the words I am using S. Nature's, cat's, Rohan's. But the S will not be simply put. You will always have to use an apostrophe with it. An apostrophe, as you can see, it is used with an inverted comma and then an S. This is the way you always put an apostrophe. Now whenever a plural noun ends in S, then we do not put apostrophe S. The mark which you can see over here, this is called apostrophe S, and it is always used in this way. You never put an apostrophe alone, or you never just put an S. You always put an apostrophe S. Now there are cases when S will not be put. I'll show you when. We come to the second point. Like I told you, when a plural noun ends in S, we use only apostrophe and not its S. Like examples have been given to you. Girls' hostel. Like I told you, it is talking about possession. Girls' hostel. Now, girls is in itself a word. If you have to show possession, that means you will use apostrophe S. But already the word girls is ending with an S. So, whenever a word will already end with an S, you will just put apostrophe and you will not put an S beyond that. Then we have another example. Students' problems. Because the word students is ending with S, we will not write apostrophe s, we will only use an apostrophe like it's used over here. If you write apostrophe s, then it will become wrong. And when there is a plural noun which does not end in s, then we can use apostrophe and s both, like examples have been given to you. Children's school. Now children, the word itself shows we are talking about many kids. Women. Women, the word itself shows we are talking about many ladies. So the word women does not end at s. It is ending at the word n. Therefore, we can use apostrophe s. But the word girls ends at the letter s. That is why we cannot use the whole apostrophe s. We only have to use apostrophe. Now, when there is a double possessive case, like the last example which has been shown to you, Mohan's brother's wife has knitted a sweater. Now, this is a wrong sentence. You cannot use apostrophe s back to back together. The way has to change and you have to use the word of. Like, the wife of Mohan's brother has knitted a sweater. Or I am giving you another example. Now, this is an incorrect sentence which I am going to say. Pihu's brother's tiffin got lost. Now, Pihu's, I am using apostrophe s. Brothers, I am using apostrophe s. Tiffin got lost. I am using both the words with apostrophe s and they are written back to back. This is a wrong sentence. So, if I have to write it correctly, how will I write it? The tiffin of Pihu's brother got lost. This will be the right sentence. Then we come to the next page. When there are two nouns being used and used for the one and same person, then we use apostrophe s with the second one. Like an example has been given to you. It is my friend's Mohan's pen. Like I told you, we cannot use apostrophe s in the words which are back to back. So the right way of writing it, it is my friend, comma, Mohan's pen. Right? So you have to take care of these things when you are putting an apostrophe. Let's quickly do the exercises. The first exercise, which of the following is a collective noun? You know, flock is a collective noun. Which of the following noun is always used in singular number? Furniture will always be used in singular number. You cannot write furnitures. Third, to which gender does the word teacher belong? Like I told you, it belongs to common gender because a teacher can be a ma'am or a sir. Then fourth, which preposition is used in the case of non-living things or to indicate possession? That is of, like I told you in the last page. Now put the following nouns in the appropriate boxes. You have to pick up nouns and put them in the right box. Like, for example, China. This is the name of a particular country. So this will fall under proper noun. Or we can take up the word gang. Gang of robbers. When we talk about a group of robbers, it is called a gang. So it will fall under, the word gang will fall under collective noun. So you have to put all these words in the right columns. Then we come to the third exercise. You have been given certain words in brackets in front of the sentence, and according to that word you have to fill in the blank. You have to use another form of that word. Now Radha's dash was liked by one and all. You have to change the form of the word simple and write it in the blank. So simple will become simplicity. Radha's simplicity was liked by one and all. Likewise, the rest of the exercise has been done for you. Then, the fourth exercise. Circle the correct form of nouns from the brackets. Like the first sentence, where shall I deliver the goods? You cannot say good. Where shall I deliver the good? That means you are talking about only one product. Then you can talk like this, where shall I deliver this packet, or where shall I deliver this box, if you are talking about one thing. But when you are talking about many, you cannot use the word good. You will be using the word goods. Or the third one, please buy 5 rolls of film for the class picnic. When you are already using 5 rolls, that means it is already plural. So again you need not use the plural word like films. It's okay if you are using the word film. Then the next exercise. Identify and write the case of the nouns in the following sentences. Now Ravi Shankar played the sitar. If you carefully look back at how I have taught you about case, Ravi Shankar will fall under nominative case because he becomes the main subject. Then the sitar. This will fall under accusative or the objective case because that becomes a direct object. In the same way, second sentence, Pawan brought you this cassette. Pawan will be nominative case and cassette is the main object, so it will fall under objective or accusative case. Likewise, you have to do the rest of the sentences. Next exercise, write the possessive forms of the following. Now, first is garments of the women. So, it will obviously become women's garments. Or, I'll take the fifth sentence, the list of the voters. It will become voters list. So likewise, you have to do the rest of the sentences. Like eighth one, you can see the car of Mr. Patel. This will become Mr. Patel's car. Next exercise is correct the following sentences. The first sentence that's written is, where is your trouser? The correct sentence will be, where are your trousers? We are talking about one trouser, but still we'll use the word trousers. Second sentence, I have applied for 4 months leave. There is no need to write months. You are already telling that it's a plural word by writing 4. So you can write, I have applied for 4-month leave. Likewise, you can do the rest of the sentences. Then the last exercise is, each of the following sentence has a mistake. You have to underline the mistake and write the correct word in the given space. The space has been given to you. You have to write the correct word over there. Now, like for example, the first one, 10 miles are not a long distance. Like I told you, when you have already shown that the word is a plural one, so there is no need to write are, or there is no need to put s again. So 10 miles is not a long distance. So underline the word are and write the correct word is in the blank given to you. I have 3 dozen pencils. Now 3 already is showing that you are talking about more than one. Therefore there is no need to put S in front of dozen. I have 3 dozen pencils. So you will underline the word dozens and write the correct word, that is dozen, in the blank that is given in front. So all these exercises have to be done in your grammar copy. Like I told you, you have to make 3 copies. One for your English reader, second for the supplementary reader, and third for grammar. And all these exercises, exercise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. All these exercises will be done in your grammar copy. That is all.